Hey guys, you guys know what it is? It's me going live for the first time in quite some time. It's been a while. The last two Saturdays I was sick. Well, last Saturday I wasn't necessarily sick. I was just having a very bad cough, and I just didn't think that, and apparently they just wanted mom just wanted to make sure that I wasn't giving whatever I had to people. So I didn't go to the library this past week, and then the week before that I didn't go to the library, didn't go live. Went to the library on the following Monday, but I just didn't go live because I just didn't feel like doing it. So this is my first live stream in 2 weeks. Let's just get into this because I want to get this over with as soon as possible with minimum distractions. I'm hoping. But obviously, let's get into it. The week, as we all know, starts out with Monday Night Raw. Starts out with Monday Night Raw. And CM Punk. CM Punk decided to start the show. He was obviously not in the best mood. Considering what had happened at Elimination Chamber. Oh, thank you, Tuber Chat. Thank you for being here, and thank you for, I'm guessing, putting a like on the live stream. I do appreciate that. For those who don't know, I do appreciate the likes. It's not required, but I do appreciate it. And thank you. So thank you, Tuber Chat. This may only be the third time you've been for one of my live streams, and so I thank you for showing up. Just trying to position my phone the best way possible. I know this isn't the usual. I'm usually on the other side of the table, but this time I decided I wanted to see if this side was better, potentially, because one of the windows that's on this side of the wall is open, has no curtains, just open. And there's usually a glare coming from the window with the sun coming in, and there's usually a little bit of a glare, but apparently there's none on this side, so I'll probably just, next time I'll probably just go live the usual spot, but today I just wanted to switch it up a little. But hey, let's get on with the show, on with the live stream. We opened up with CM Punk. He was not happy about what happened at the Elimination Chamber. Elimination Chamber was last weekend, and it was such a good show. One of the best Elimination Chamber pay-per-views I've watched. I'm happy to say, actually, well, okay, I'm not gonna lie. I actually didn't watch it yet, but I'm pretty much certain that when I do, it's gonna be one of those things where I'm gonna love it. The only match I heard wasn't very good was the women's tag match, Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. That was the match that some people were saying just wasn't very good at all. Mainly just the botches and stuff, which is bound to happen. But hey, here's what it is. Other than that, I heard the pay-per-view was great. I'll be watching it. At some point, I will watch it. But I'm sure it'll be great. But yeah, CM Punk wasn't happy. He was the last one eliminated from the men's chamber match, but it was how he got eliminated that was pissing him off. Not just the fact that John Cena, apparently, he won the chamber match. John Cena And for the first time since since like late October, early November of 2030. That was the last time we ever saw John Cena as a heel when he was the doctor of Thugonomics. He was a heel from like for basically a year, for almost like a year, from like for more than a year, from like mid 2002 to like the late summer 2002 into late fall 2003, basically. So hey, Jealous Omega. Don't know who you are, but thank you for coming. And if you want to hit, and for those who have just come in, and if you haven't hit that like button, feel free to do so. It is never required, but I do appreciate it. I appreciate the likes. I appreciate all the views. Can we get this to 5 likes? At least 5? And can we get this up to 100 views? I used to game on PC, but I don't know what happened, but my laptop just doesn't seem to be working anymore. I don't know. I might have to get it fixed. But I do play games on this phone. Like Monopoly Go is the one that I'm playing the most nowadays. I also got a couple of other like games like Wheel of Fortune. I love that game so much. I got a couple of other games that I like to play on here, and I don't play on any like gaming consoles. I want to. I'm saving up money. I'm saving money for either a PS4 or PS5. Oh, I want WWE 2K24. I don't know if I'm going to be getting 25 because that just seems like it might be a little too much. No, I don't have Discord. I don't have Discord or whatever that other thing was that you were just mentioning. Again, for those who may just now have come in, if you want to hit that like button, feel free to do so. It is never required, but I do appreciate it. Let's see if we can get it to 5 likes. This live stream to 5 likes minimum. That's all I'm asking for. Sometimes I can get more than that, but I'm usually able to get at least 5 per live stream. But yeah, let's get on. Let's continue on. Yes, I am East Coast, Virginia. And that's all I'm going to say because I don't usually give out personal information to strangers. That's just something that I don't do. Let's get on with this. Keep on with the show. CM Punk. Oh, that's nice. I'm sure it's warm in California. It usually is. Okay, now I think I'm done being distracted for a while. Hopefully. Let's keep on with the show. CM Punk, obviously, he was last eliminated in the men's chamber match. John Cena, he turned heel on Cody. He turned heel for the first time since 2003, since early November 2003. It's been over 21 years. It happened. But Seth Rollins, who was also in the chamber match, he was eliminated by Punk. But Seth Rollins decided, you know what? I'm going to carry through on what I said the previous night on SmackDown, where I said if I can't win the chamber match, then I'm going to make sure you can't either. So that's exactly what happened. He screwed Punk out of the chamber, screwed Punk out of a match with Cody Rhodes, and obviously Seth Rollins eventually interrupted Punk. They started brawling. It was big. It even continued backstage at least twice. This then led to eventually Adam Pearce decided, you know what, you guys want to just keep brawling and keep fighting and keep beating each other up. I'll just I'll just make sure that the next time you do it, it's in an official match. And so next week, and so this upcoming Monday on Raw live from MSG, it will be CM Punk versus Seth Rollins in a steel cage match. That probably should main event the show. And because there have been rumors of a CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns triple threat match at WrestleMania this year, we could see Roman Reigns come back to get at least some sort of revenge on Seth Rollins for that double curb stomp at the Royal Rumble 2 months ago, almost 2 months ago. Well, it's a little over a month. But hey, it is what it is. That should be a great match. Should be a good draw next week. But hey, after this, we got Finn Balor backstage with the Judgment Day. Hey, Hunter, Aaron, 3 likes. Let's go. Let's get it to 5. Come on, guys. I know it's possible. And 6 people. I'm usually able to get as much as 6 people on a live stream. Sometimes I would love to get at least 10 people, but that's wishful thinking. I'm not very popular, apparently. Although I do have over 600 subscribers, which I'm happy. I'm currently at 610 subscribers. Greetings, Danny. Greetings. Hey, Danny. I know you're probably wondering, where the hell have I been? The last 2 weeks, I have been ghosting basically all of you. Not intentionally, but just like not going live for 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, I was quote unquote sick. But then again, my whole family was sick. My mom was sick. Same thing. Flu, high temperature, throwing up, just genuinely feeling like crap. Last week, I was better, but I was still coughing up a storm, like bad. Yeah, I've never, Danny. Never. But even though I wasn't going live, I was still posting videos. Obviously, the Masked Singer videos, they will be coming. They're coming back every now and then. No, haven't. Never. Although Mox would probably love that. Because then that would give him another reason to want me banned from Matt's channel, but yeah, I won't give him the satisfaction. He's gonna have to deal with me on Matt's channel for a very, very long time. Oh, and also, I've said this now maybe twice since I came back to Matt's channel, but I'm just gonna reiterate it. What I do outside of YouTube, what I post to Facebook, to Instagram, that's my business and my business only. So, to the few people who maybe don't like what I post to Instagram and Facebook, you can all take a big giant dump and eat it because what I post to Facebook and Instagram, it's none of your business. So stop being so damn sensitive. And just focus on your own stupid lives, which probably aren't that interesting anyways. which probably aren't that interesting to begin with. I mean, Rory lives in Puerto Rico. I mean, what fun could anybody possibly have there? And then Moxley lives in Australia. Yeah, right. The only good thing about Australia are the beaches. And even that's subpar or at best. Yeah. So why don't you people, you guys know who you are, stop trying to censor me because it ain't gonna work. I'm gonna continue to post whatever I damn well please on Facebook and Instagram, and you people are just gonna have to like it. Now back to the show. Finn Balor backstage. He was with the Judgment Day. He is again not happy at all. Although he is happy that Raquel and Liv are now the new women's tag team champion, that just doesn't seem to be enough for him to be happy, considering all the recent losing that the Judgment Day seem to be doing. And yes, the Judgment Day have officially become jobbers, basically. I mean, yes, Finn Balor is still very good. Yes, Powerade, zero sugar. My mom buys zero sugar, although I would probably enjoy the regular Powerade, just the original, the regular Powerade, just as good. But this is Fruit Punch, for those who don't know. Well, obviously, I think it's pretty clear. The red is for Fruit Punch. I drink the blue Powerade, which is the mixed berry, the red, which is the Fruit Punch, and I drink the orange flavor. That's about it. But yeah, Finn Balor said that he is going to take the fight to Braun Breaker tonight. Well, we all know how that went. Didn't exactly go over very well. Well, then we had Gunther. He went one-on-one with Otis. This is basically Gunther basically promised when he won the Royal Rumble and when he challenged and when he told Gunther, "I'm challenging you at WrestleMania," he promised 10 weeks or however many weeks there were at that point until WrestleMania. He decided it's gonna be just hell for Jey Uso. And so recently he's been wrestling recently, and he's been having semi-good matches against members of Alpha Academy. The last week he faced Akira Tozawa. This week Otis. This was actually a pretty decent match between two big heavyweight men. Went about 11 minutes. Gunther won obviously, and then attacked Otis. Post-match, Akira Tozawa tried to get involved in the match and get involved, but Gunther attacked him too. This led to Jey Uso coming out. He attacked Gunther. Gunther got out of the ring while he could. Then, all of a sudden, A-Town Down Under, Austin Theory. I mean, some people can't stand him, but that's also, I think, because he just seems too comedic at times. I mean, he has the ability to be a serious wrestler, and he was actually pretty darn good when Chad Gable first started the Alpha Academy with just Otis. When it was just him and Otis, it was great. He looked great. He looked as the best that he had ever been. And then the group just started to become comedic with Akira Tozawa. And also, I just don't know if people really love the caterpillar. I feel like he should just stick to something else that's less of a comedic move. I don't know, but hey, I don't mind Otis, but I feel like he should be a little more serious and less comedic. This led to Jey Uso. Then, all of a sudden, A-Town Down Under, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, they attacked Jey Uso. They were all involved in a backstage segment the previous week where where obviously A-Town Down Under were talking down to Jey Uso. At one point, Austin Theory even did a yeet or attempted a yeet. This led to Jey Uso eventually just super kicking Grayson Waller, and so that's probably what led to this. This then led to Gunther getting back into the ring and performing a rear naked choke, or at least a choke hold, sleeper hold on Jay. That's how the segment ended. A pretty decent match and a pretty decent beatdown segment. I'm guessing Jey Uso is winning because there's no way that they're going to have Gunther beat Jay twice because now actually 3 times because he once challenged Gunther for the Intercontinental title in a match where Jimmy Uso got involved, which led to him losing, which led to Jay losing. So this will be the 3rd time that they've actually fought one-on-one. After this, we got a video package for Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley, main event for the NXT for the Women's World Title. This was a great match, and I will definitely talk about it a little bit later when I get to the main event. Then we get Ivy Nile. Ivy Nile versus Lyra Valkyria. This is for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. This match was pretty good, actually. Lasted about 8 minutes, 30 seconds. Not bad. Not a bad match. I was kind of hoping that Ivy would win, but they decided just to have Lyra win, which it's okay. I like Lyra, but I just feel like American Made has been nothing more than presented as just losers ever since they became a team, because they couldn't win any match against the Wyatt Six, and they were just booked to look like complete, I'm just gonna say it, idiots against the Wyatt Six. They couldn't get any momentum against the Wyatt Six. It was just beatdown segments after beatdown segments, matches that they constantly lost to the Wyatt Six, making the Wyatt Six look so like invincible, like they just couldn't lose, like they just couldn't lose at all. Hey, Austin. For those who, like I said now twice now, if there's anybody who just came in, and if you want to hit that like button, feel free to do so. It's never required, but I do appreciate it, and thank you. 5 likes. My goal now has been reached, and now can we possibly make it 10 likes? It's not going to be easy, but I think we can pull it off. Maybe. But hey. But yeah, it's just my. Well, hey, thanks, Austin. Thanks for sharing. And that's also something that I want to say. If you guys want to share 1K likes, that's not gonna happen. It could, but it's not gonna happen. Yeah, if there's anybody that has the ability to share me out, if they want to, they can do it. It's not also not required. But hey, I would appreciate the extra views. But hey, after this match, we actually got a video package for Chad Gable. He is searching for the secrets to battling luchadors because he lost a match to he lost to Penta. He lost, I think, a match to Rey Mysterio or I can't remember. It was like another luchador. He's the last few matches he's had has been against luchadors and he's been losing. So he's been trying to find this secret to defeating them, and I don't know. I do not know. Let's see what happens. But apparently he found something. And it's we don't know what it is, but he found something that apparently is like a major breakthrough for him. So this is getting interesting, and I'll see what happens, and we'll see what happens at the end. After this, we got Bianca Belair. She's backstage. She has a message for both Io Sky and Rhea Ripley heading into the main event. She will be there. At ringside for the match to watch and see who wins. Because obviously, whoever wins this match is going to be the one that's facing her at WrestleMania, having won the women's Elimination Chamber match. We then get Ludwig Kaiser. He is out there. He is calling out Penta because he is apparently still not exactly happy, even though he won a triple threat match last week involving Penta, which I'm guessing you could say is technically his first loss, even though he technically was never pinned in the match. But hey, it was an interesting brawl. There was some spots that could have been a little bit better, but all in all, it looked like a pretty decent segment. Then we get obviously after this we go backstage. Seth Rollins, CM Punk are still sort of brawling. This eventually leads to Adam Pearce announcing a match next week on Raw in MSG. Seth Rollins versus CM Punk inside of a steel cage, which should be a great match nonetheless, regardless of the ending of who wins. After this, we then also get Braun Breaker, and obviously Finn Balor interrupts. Obviously, this is a typical Judgment Day segment where or at least typical of what the Judgment Day right now are, where they try to beat down on Braun Breaker and eventually it just doesn't work out. And everybody just gets pummeled. JD is apparently still out, I'm guessing with the injury that he suffered in a tag team match against the War Raiders, so it's gonna be interesting. And Dominic just keeps asking, like, why don't we just get another member? And Finn's like, no new member. But clearly, even though there's 3 of them and 1 of Braun, it's it's Braun Breaker. I mean, you could put 6 men up against him, and he would still plow through every single one. It's like you are not. It's like with Braun Breaker, there is no advantage. You don't even if you have like a 6-on-1 advantage, it's not going to matter because Braun Breaker is just going to spear every single one of those, and it's just going to like it is what it is. But hey, typical. Then we get a promo. Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee, they called out the New Day. I'm guessing this is going to lead to a match potentially next week on Monday Night Raw or whenever it happens. It should be a good match because all four wrestlers are great. So hey, it is what it is. No, I can't. I can't. I don't have Max, don't have Amazon Prime, and I don't have Fight TV, and I'm not paying $50 just to watch a pay. I don't even have $50 at the moment to be able to spend to pay for an AEW pay per view. Like, sorry, but I'll stick with Peacock for the moment, which is $7.99. Yeah, that's a lot cheaper than paying $50 for an AEW pay-per-view that might not even be good. But AEW Revolution tomorrow is supposed to be, looks like on paper, looks like it's going to be a, six. Yes, 6 likes. Let's go. Let's make it 10. Let's make it 10. But yeah, we got a replay of the John Cena heel turn on Cody Rhodes. It was great. It was great, as I knew it was, as it's going to be. John Cena's heel first promo as a heel is going to be amazing. It's going to blow out everything out of the water. It's just going to make this all worth it. China, yes, I do know who she is. I do remember a wrestler named China, but that's not how you spelled her name. It was Chyna, not China, like as in the country. But yeah, I do remember her. After this, though, we get then the next match is a tag team match for the World Tag Team titles. War Raiders versus American Made. This was another great tag team match, specifically because both teams are just great. But then this was another instance of where I wanted American Made to win because they have been presented as nothing but losers since winning, since becoming a team, it's becoming a faction. And yes, you can say all the right heel stuff and you can heal it up as much as you want, but it eventually won't matter if you're just losing constantly. I don't know if I want John Cena to win or not, because I could see him winning because he's now a heel. Although I could also see WWE just saying, you know what? It's still too early for Cody to lose. It's still too early for Cody to lose. He has to win at WrestleMania, and then maybe they can have him, win the title at another event. But if you want to make a statement, then having Cena win at WrestleMania 41 with the help of The Rock and, Travis Scott and whoever else The Rock decides to pull into his I guess you could say, entourage. That would be a moment. Then we get the main event: Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky. The War Raiders American Made match lasted about 10 minutes. It was a good tag team match. Then we get the main event: Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky. 17 minutes, about 17 minutes, just under 17 minutes. And yeah, this match was great. It was great. Rhea Ripley came in as the champion. I did not think she was going to lose the title, but WWE swerved us and gave Io Sky the win in what was a great match to begin with. Well, the ending of this match was interesting because they had Rhea Ripley jaw-jacking with Bianca Belair at ringside at one point near the end of the match. Obviously, that distraction eventually led to Io Sky getting the win, and that genuinely surprised me. But all in all, a great Monday Night Raw. One of the best that I've seen so far. This is maybe like the second or third best I've seen, and it was very good. So I would rate it a 7.5 out of 10. Then we go to Tuesday and NXT. NXT tonight, NXT this week. 1 week away from NXT Roadblock, which is now shaping up to be a great show. And I will be watching NXT Roadblock this upcoming week, on the CW. So if you want to watch it, if you haven't seen NXT and you want to see what it's like, you can watch it for free on the CW, and it won't cost you a thing. Oh, it's live on the CW, so yeah. And we're getting some really good matches. Booked for, as of right now, the matches booked for the show are Oba Femi versus the NXT champion versus Moose, the TNA X Division champion, in a match for the NXT title. This isn't champion versus champion match for both titles. It's just for the NXT title, but that should be a great match. And I don't think Moose wins the title. I think he loses. We also got another champion versus champion match. Yep, I did. We got Julia versus Stephanie Becker in a winner takes all match. Now I was like interested in like, why are they doing this match? Why is this a winner takes all match? But from what I have heard since then, since they announced this match, it seems as though Julia is dealing with an injury. So it may not be severe, it may not be, we don't know exactly the severity of the injury, but this could be their way of just writing her off television so she can heal up. If that's the case, then I don't mind it. It's a good way for them to not have to strip the title off of Julia and just have her lose the title in a match. If that's the case, and if she is injured, and if she's injured to the point where she can't defend the title anymore and she has to heal up, then I totally understand them wanting to do this match. Or at least do it the way that they did it, in a winner takes all stipulation. But also confirmed for the show, Matt and Jeff Hardy, the Hardy Boys, versus the TNA World Tag Team Champions versus Fraxium, Nathan Frazier and Axiom for the NXT Tag Team title champions in a match for the TNA Tag Championships. So that match should also be good. Now, as of tonight, as of this episode of NXT, we got Jordynne Grace and Roxanne Perez booked for the show, and there probably will be at least one more match booked, maybe. We'll see. But 4 matches that are guaranteed to be good. So, hey. The opening match last segment of this episode was Piper Niven and Chelsea Green versus Sol, Ruka, and Zarya. This match was a very decent tag team match. Went about 10 minutes. Now, Sol, Ruka, and Zarya actually won the match, and Julia and Sol, Ruka actually pinned the Women's United States Champion, Chelsea Green, which might give her a chance to challenge for the women's North American women's United States Championship at some point. That could happen. The fact that they had her pin the champ could obviously be setting up a future match between Soruka and Chelsea Green for the title. Obviously, I don't think Soruka will win because I feel like they're gonna have someone else beat her, but that's just interesting that they could possibly be leading to a match between the two. After this, we got a video package for Julia and Stephanie Becker detailing this winner takes all match. It was a good video package. By the numbers, but it was good. Then we apparently go to a press conference that's happening, I think, at MSG or wherever. I can't remember where it was, but where it was they were holding this press. But they were holding a NXT Roadblock press conference with various superstars that are going to be on the show as saying whatever it is they want to say and answering questions. So Obafemi was there. Obviously, he talked about his match with Moose. Obviously, he gave Moose his props, but stated that there's absolutely no way that he's going to let Moose walk out of NXT Roadblock as the NXT champion. That's just not going to happen. After this, we got a backstage segment. We go to commercial break. Then we come backstage. Trick Williams backstage with Kale Dixon, and I can't remember who the guy is that's with him. Can't remember. But Kale Dixon is still just a little bit upset about the fact that Chase U is no more, and immediately, as soon as he sees Trick, he starts blaming Trick for what happened to Chase U. This gets Trick Williams fired up because he is in a heated feud with Eddie Thorpe. This leads to a match later on in the night. But the next match, we got Jada Parker versus Kelani Jordan. About 10 minutes, 30 seconds, give or take. Decent match, very decent match, very good match. Kelani Jordan, actually, I thought Kelani Jordan was going to win this match, but Jada won. So, hey, I mean, it is what it is. Good match, good win for Jada. Of course, sort of thought Kelani was going to win, but that's okay. After this, we go backstage. Jordynne Grace, she's backstage. She is with Ava talking about NXT Roadblock. Cora Jade comes in and just interrupts and just starts throwing shade at Jordynne Grace. This then leads to a match between them, which is set for a little bit later on in the show, because after this we go and we get the Hardy Boys. Hardy Boys for the second week in a row. Obviously, next week it'll be 3 weeks in a row that they've been on NXT television, and I'm so happy to see them just in WWE in general. Even though it's the developmental brand, they're on WWE television for the first time in years as a tag team. Not just as, because the last time we saw Jeff Hardy in WWE at all was in like 2021, was in late in 2021. So, hey, it's like great to see them back. They got interrupted by Hank Walker and Tank Ledger. They weren't out there. They were just out there because they wanted advice from one of the best tag teams in the world. And obviously the Hardys gave them the advice. And then eventually Josh Briggs and the new guy that he's been running around with, I'm not even going to spell his name out because I don't even know how to pronounce it. So I'm just going to, I mean, I know his last name, Josh Briggs and Itamura. They came out, and then the four of them started brawling. Then Axiom and Nathan Frazier show up. Obviously, they hype up their match for next week. And that's how that segment ended, and it was very good. Then we get Cora Jade versus Jordynne Grace. This match lasted about 6 minutes, but this match was kind of got scary at one point because at one point during the picture-in-picture break, it looked like the match had just stopped. I don't know what was going on, but the match had suddenly stopped. Medics were checking in, the referee and medics were checking on Cora Jade, and apparently at one point the referee had thrown up the X sign, which usually means a legit injury has been sustained. And apparently people were worried that it was her knees because she's had a history of knee injuries that have sidelined her over the past over the past 2 years. But it was made, but Cora Jade made it clear to address that situation post-match, and she made it clear that this time it was not her knees that were bothering her, it was her head, apparently maybe a concussion or whatever, but hopefully Cora Jade is not too seriously injured, and I like her, so I'm hoping she's not too seriously injured. Then we get Kale Dixon versus Trick Williams. This match doesn't even last long at all. 3 seconds max. Trick immediately hits the trick shot on Kale Dixon. This apparently knocks Kale Dixon out cold, and the referee forces the match to stop. So Trick Williams wins via referee stoppage. After the match, Eddie Thorpe comes out. Eddie Thorpe, we see him in the balcony area where wrestlers tend to watch matches. If they don't want to be ringside, they can just go up to the balcony area to watch matches. Eddie Thorpe's up there and he challenges Trick Williams to a match. I think it's like either next week or 2 weeks from now in an NXT underground match, which Trick Williams accepts. Oh yeah, forgot. The other match scheduled for NXT Roadblock is a New York City street fight. Javon Evans versus Ethan Page. That match is also made official for NXT Roadblock. That's gonna be the end of this feud. It's gonna be the end of the feud. Hey, thanks. Hey, Thomas. Thank you for coming, man. I appreciate it. And hey, if you guys want to hit that like button, feel free to do so. It's never required, but I do appreciate it. Then we get the main event. Tony D'Angelo versus Shawn Spears. This is for the NXT North American title. Another title change that I was not expecting. Shawn Spears worked on the back of Tony D'Angelo for basically the entire match. And by the end of the match, Shawn Spears hit the Z4 or whatever his Z6 or whatever his finishing move is called. Tony kicked out, but as Tony was going for like a spine buster, I'm pretty sure it was like a spine buster, his back gave out. Shawn Spears he collapsed, and then Shawn Spears just covered him for the 1-2-3, getting the win, and is your new NXT North American champion. I was not expecting that. I was expecting Tony D to win, but it's a surprise. This week has been full of surprises. Surprise wins that I was not expecting. Surprise new champions that I wasn't expecting. And hey, it's pretty decent deal. Pretty good deal. Tuesday NXT this week's show was great. Was really good. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. And now we go to AW Dynamite. AW Dynamite recently has been hit and miss. There have actually been some good AW Dynamite shows recently. Some that just weren't, and others that just weren't very good at all. So, hey, it is what it is. It's kind of a mixture of both, good and bad. This show opened up with a contract signing between Swerve Strickland and Ricochet. They will have a match at AEW Revolution, which is set for tomorrow. Like I said earlier, to those who might have just came in, as I said earlier, I will not be able to watch AEW Revolution. But hey, it is what it is. The matches should be good. I mean, it is what it is. The matches should be good. So that's just all I'm going to say. Some of the matches definitely look like they're going to be really good. But this match is definitely one of them. Obviously, this divulged into a beatdown segment. Apparently, both of them had brought a pair of scissors and was wanting to gash the other guy with the scissors, but obviously that didn't work out. Apparently, Swerve and Ricochet were also scheduled for a main event match, which was a tag team match. Kazuchika Okada and Ricochet versus Swerve Strickland and Brody King. Yeah, random tag team match with superstars that don't even have anything in common other than the fact that Kazuchika Okada is going to be facing Brody King at Revolution for the Continental Classic Championship. So I'm guessing that's the reason why they booked it. It's just four superstars, all of whom have matches at Revolution. And yeah. The first match of the night, though, was an 8-man tag team match. Will Ospreay, Powerhouse Hobbs, Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, random 8-man tag team match that has nothing to do with literally anything. Tony Khan, sorry, you don't know me, I don't know you, but could you please stop with these random 8-man tag team matches? Because most of the time, when we get these tag team matches, they don't mean anything. There's no story behind it other than Will Ospreay wanting to get back at the Don Callis family, because there's at least 3 members of the Don Callis family involved in this match. Mark Davis, Lance Archer, and Brian Cage. I mean, Will Ospreay is going to be facing off against Kyle Fletcher at Revolution, AEW Revolution, and if I was booking that match, I would book Kyle Fletcher to win, because you are not going to have this build up. You're not going to build up Kyle Fletcher only to have him lose to Will Ospreay, the guy who I guess apparently Tony Khan feels can't lose ever and is so afraid of having Will Ospreay look weak, even though Will Ospreay is probably one of the most pushed superstars in AEW right now. He's literally pretty much bulletproof already. I don't think there's anything you could do to make Will Ospreay look weak at this point, unless he got squashed by Lance Archer in 2 minutes. But hey, it is what it is. Obviously, the faces won the match. It was bound to happen. Which actually begs the question, since the faces won, does that actually mean that Will Ospreay might lose? Because that's basically booking 101 when it comes to wrestling. As far as what I've come to know from pro wrestling since watching it. We then get a Kenny Omega video package. He is calling out the Don Callis family. And obviously Konosuke Takeshita, who he will be facing at Revolution for the International Championship. That match should be great. And I think Kenny Omega just might win. We'll see what happens. After this, we got MJF. He is not happy. He's not happy. When is he ever happy? Never. He's never happy unless he's beating down on somebody, beating up somebody, or talking trash to them, and almost ending their career. Great. Who asked for MJF? Who asked for MJF? I know I didn't. But hey, and MJF will go one-on-one with Hangman Adam Page at Revolution as well. So we're Strickland, Ricochet, Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita, Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher, Kazuchika Okada versus Brody King, MJF versus Hangman Adam Page, Adam Cole versus Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. That should main event the show. So that's 6 matches. Then we got Mercedes Moné and Mono Watanabe. Don't know who she is. And also the Women's Championship. Toni Storm versus Mariah May. The final match, the trilogy, the Hollywood ending as it's being labeled, and it's a Falls Count Anywhere match. So 8 matches, that should be enough. But this was a typical MJF segment. Talks trash about the city that they're currently in at the moment. Talks trash about the wrestler that he's going to be facing at the pay-per-view. Eventually beats down that wrestler. He attempted to light Hangman and Page on fire, yet thank goodness officials and referees were like, no, that's not happening. And MJF tried to get out of it, but they were not going to let him do that. So I'm glad, because that's the last thing we need is MJF setting people on fire. But hey, after this though, we got Adam Copeland. I refuse to say Cope. He will be Adam Copeland to me. Adam Copeland versus Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler Yuta is the last surviving member of the Death Riders who has yet to be taken out by Adam Cole. Adam Cole has taken out every other member of the Death Riders so far. He's taken out Pac, and Claudio Castagnoli, and even though he didn't take out Marina Shafir, Willow Nightingale most certainly was willing to do that for him. And so Wheeler Yuta is the last person who has the opportunity. And so the object of this match was for Wheeler Yuta to make sure that Adam Copeland was not walking out of Sacramento. But obviously, Adam Copeland was obviously going to win. And I actually full-on expected Adam Copeland to take out Wheeler Yuta just like he had taken out the other members. But this time he didn't. He actually let Wheeler Yuta go and let Wheeler Yuta walk away scot-free with no injuries. I'm like, dude, you know Wheeler Yuta is going to come out during your match on tomorrow and interfere in the match on Moxley's behalf. But then things got interesting after the match because Jon Moxley was not happy with Wheeler Yuta because he was supposed to not only win the match, but make sure that Adam Copeland wasn't even able to make it to Revolution, and neither of those things happened. So who knows what's going to happen later? I don't know. I would have Jon Moxley retain the title, but they might have Adam Copeland win the title anyways. Who knows? We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Then we get sit down. Then we get a interview segment. Renee Paquette is interviewing both Mariah May and Toni Storm heading into their match at Revolution, which is going to be a Falls Count Anywhere match for the Women's Championship. The Hollywood ending it's being labeled as. This was as basic as it gets, but it was good. It was good because Toni Storm is great. Mariah May has recently become unglued, shall we say. She's gotten a little crazy, just like Toni Storm did when she first crashed out. But hey, the match should be great. If Toni Storm could win, but I could also see Mariah May winning. I do not know who's going to win that match. Then we get another Max Caster Open Challenge. Max Caster had an open challenge to any superstar in AEW. Out comes Jay White. Obviously, this match was never going to last long at all. The last open challenge Max Caster had was against Hangman Adam Page. That lasted barely a minute. This match lasted at least a minute. And Max Caster loses to Jay White in a match that was completely pointless and didn't mean anything and did nothing for Max Caster or Jay White. Great. That's exactly what we don't need is more meaningless squash matches. But I'm not the one booking AEW. Tony Khan is the one booking AEW, and he has the power to make AEW better, but apparently he does not seem to give a crap about making AEW better. All he cares about is whether or not the fans go home saying, boy, that was such a great match. And that seems to be all that AEW is nowadays. Great matches and no story. If everybody goes home saying that pay-per-view was just so good because all the matches were great, then apparently Tony Khan did his job. Well, obviously AEW is failing and you're the one to blame. So if you want AEW to succeed, Tony Khan, you need to get better at writing your shows, or here's an idea, get a writing team and have them write the shows. You can still own the company, just it's clear that things aren't getting better, things are getting worse, and we know who the buck stops with. It's Tony Khan. Everything stops with Tony Khan. But yeah, let's get on with the show. I'm done ranting about Tony Khan failing AEW. Yeah. Watch Tony Khan actually watch my live stream and be like, who is this kid and why is he ranting and raving about how AEW is failing? It's not failing. Yeah, right. We got a women's tag team match. Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford versus Thunder Rosa and Chris Statlander. This match was basically built out of a rather awkward segment that happened last week when I think it was Megan Bayne had a match with Chris Statlander. Megan Bayne won. Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford then attacked Chris post-match. and Thunder Rosa came in with a steel chair, yet Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford stood there as if they were not even scared one bit. Like, if someone came into the ring with a steel chair in hand, I would be running for the hills. But Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford made Thunder Rosa look stupid in the middle of that ring. Why she didn't even swing the chair at Megan and Penelope, I don't know. But she just stood there like she was waiting for Megan and Penelope to do something, but they didn't do anything. And eventually they left. They left the ring, but the damage was done. So I guess that's how this tag team match came about. About 5 minutes, the heel Megan and Penelope won the match. I think it was Megan who pinned Thunder Rosa. Great. That shows you how the women's division in AEW is booked. Like a joke. Only Timeless Toni Storm seems to be the only credible woman in the women's division. Maybe Harley Cameron, who seems to be getting popular now. Mariah May, Mercedes Moné. Only a few select women in AEW are actually booked like stars and not like jokes. Then we get the main event, Okada and Ricochet versus Swerve Strickland and Brody King. Random tag team match. Lasts about 11 minutes. It was a decent tag team match to end the show. And I think the faces won. I can't remember. Oh, wait. No, Ricochet actually did win. Ricochet did win. Okada and Ricochet actually did win by cheating, but hey, a win is a win. That's the show. It wasn't a bad show, but it wasn't a good show either. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. It was just decent. It was decent. The main event was decent. The opening segment was decent. Adam Copeland versus Wheeler Yuta was a pretty decent match. MJF Hangman segment was very good, but everything else was just not needed or just bad. Now on to Friday Night SmackDown. Friday Night SmackDown was a very good show last night. We got Randy Orton opening the show. He had a lot to say about John Cena, apparently, and Kevin Owens, who he will definitely be feuding with going into WrestleMania. So it is what it is. He had a lot to say. He say it was by the book, and it was a great promo segment. After this, we go backstage. Tiffany Stratton, Chelsea Green, and Piper Niven are backstage with Nick Aldis. Chelsea is not happy that she is being booked in yet another Women's United States Championship match against Michin. This is, I think, the 4th time they've had a match for the Women's World U.S. Championship, and their 5th match, basically since this feud started, counting the dumpster match, which Michin actually won. But she's not happy about that. Tiffany comes in. She's all like, Chelsea, why don't you be quiet? No one really cares what you have to say. And why don't you just stop complaining for once? This then leads to Tiffany Stratton calling out Piper Niven for a match. And Chelsea is like, no, Piper Niven is my Secret Service, part of my Secret Service, and she has to be ringside for my match. But Nick Aldis is like, well, she may be technically your Secret Service, but she works for WWE, and I want to see that match, so it's happening, and deal with it, Chelsea. Chelsea Green just storms off in her usual pissed off way, like she can't believe that everybody's being quote unquote unfair. This match happens next. Lasted about 7 minutes, and it was a decent match between the two. Tiffany Stratton wins the match. But then in comes Charlotte Flair to once again steal Tiffany Stratton's spotlight. It seems like this entire feud has been based solely around Charlotte Flair one-upping Tiffany Stratton at every single moment, beatdown segments after beatdown segments. Just this time she locks the figure eight on Tiffany Stratton. Like, literally just end this feud and let Tiffany retain. Please, my God, I do not want Charlotte Flair to win at WrestleMania. She does not need to win at WrestleMania. If Charlotte Flair wins at WrestleMania, then Tiffany Stratton's push is done. There's like no way WWE is going to push Tiffany Stratton again. Her momentum is gone if she loses at WrestleMania. I know some of you may think Charlotte Flair deserves to win because she's the best wrestler in WWE and there's nobody on her level. Well, that's exactly what Charlotte Flair thinks, but obviously there's women in WWE that are not only on her level, but maybe even levels above her. And she's just too stubborn and too much of a egotistical heel and too much of a entitled heel to see that she doesn't need to be winning all the time and that she doesn't need to be holding the women's championship 24/7. But yeah, it is what it is. Drew McIntyre, he has a match against Jimmy Uso, but before the match, he was being interviewed backstage. He talks about John Cena, talks about how he would have eliminated John Cena from the Elimination Chamber match had it not been for Damian Priest. Apparently, before the show even went on the air, they had Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre in a brawl outside the arena where Drew McIntyre got the better of that situation. We then get a triple threat tag team match. Nick Aldis they have a video package where Nick Aldis talks about the status of the men's tag team division on SmackDown. He announces that the Street Profits will have a match for the tag team championships the following week in the first of WWE's European tour of SmackDown and Raw at Barcelona. That will be the first of several Raw and SmackDown shows that they'll air in Europe. So that should be good, should be fun. And then a triple threat match was done last night to determine number one contenders for the tag team titles following the Street Profits DIY match. So it's Los Garza versus Pretty Deadly versus Motor City Machine Guns. Match lasted about 5 minutes and 30 seconds, give or take, and it was a very good match. Very good match. And Pretty Deadly got an upset win, which was nice. But unless they're actually winning the tag team titles, I just don't see this win meaning a whole lot. After the match, we got Santos Escobar backstage with Los Garza. He's not happy that they lost, and yeah. Santos Escobar and Legado del Fantasma have not been booked as strong as of late. And they lost Elektra Lopez, so that's just I guess needle. That's just the wooden stake to the heart. But we then get Charlotte Flair backstage. She's backstage reveling in her post-match in her beatdown of Tiffany Stratton. In comes B-Fab, who just decides to throw some shade at Charlotte's way, and this leads to Charlotte Flair calling out B-Fab for a match next week, which is probably going to be the first time we've seen Charlotte Flair wrestling on SmackDown since the match on SmackDown that injured her, sending her away for at least a year. But hey, it is what it is. I wish Charlotte Flair was actually wrestling more as well, even though she is still I mean, all they've done since Charlotte won the Rumble was attack Tiffany Stratton on 3 separate occasions. And at least one other time, obviously she announced that she was going to be she announced that she was challenging Tiffany at WrestleMania. But hey, it is what it is. I just hope Tiffany Stratton retains. We then get Solo Sikoa versus Braun Strowman. Lasted about 9 minutes. This match was pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. After the match, Jacob Fatu runs interference. Braun Strowman fights back. I mean, this is typical of what you would see from two big men like Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu. We then get Naomi. Bianca Belair is out there, comes out. She is the winner of the Women's Elimination Chamber match this year. She is also out there to get some answers from Naomi as far as, did she really attack Jade because everybody was speculating that it was her who did it following Jade's attack on Naomi at the Elimination Chamber, at the beginning of the Women's Elimination Chamber match, before the match could actually take place. That eventually forced Naomi to withdraw from the match due to not being able to continue. So she came out sporting a neck brace that was all glittery and obvious. And yeah, this was a very, very good segment. And the build of the Naomi versus Jade, even though this match has now officially only been built now within like the span of like a week, this match I'm already more hyped for this match after maybe even just a week of build than Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton, which has been built over a month and has been built on nothing but Charlotte Flair just getting the better of Tiffany Stratton every single moment she gets the chance to do so. It's like they're afraid to have Charlotte Flair ever look weak, ever. She's like Super Cena, or like Roman Reigns when he was Undisputed Champion, Universal/Undisputed Champion. They were just so afraid to have him look weak ever. Even Super Cena, they were so afraid at times of having him look weak ever. So hey, this was great. The acting on both Naomi and Bianca's part was great. I mean, Naomi even called Bianca an ungrateful B word. I'm not going to say the word, but I'm just going to say an ungrateful B word. And that hit hard. Then Jade comes in to focus. She comes in, the black SUV. She comes out, goes to the ring, and just decides to lay on Naomi thick. Hits Jaded, and that's how that segment ends. And that segment was great. Then we get the Women's United States Championship match. Chelsea Green versus Michin. Just prior to the match, Zelina Vega told Chelsea that she's going to be coming for whoever wins that United States Championship match. Yeah, either Chelsea Green or Michin. So nice to see that Zelina Vega's going to hopefully be doing something in the near future. But this match lasted about 11 minutes. Chelsea Green came out and she was dressed in Cactus Jack, basically Cactus Jack galore. Or she put it Cactus Chelsea or Chick Foley, I think is what she said, Chick Foley. What she said on Instagram when she posted the Instagram. Yeah, that was great. Obviously Mick Foley had some matches in ECW, so was in ECW, had matches in ECW, so it made sense for her to do a little bit of an homage to Mick Foley. Obviously, Meacham lost the match. Surprisingly, Alba Fire apparently decided to show up and helped Chelsea Green win, and apparently she is now being slated. Now she's being paired up with Chelsea and Piper. I'm only guessing that this was the spot that was supposed to go to Blair Davenport before they released her, and so they decided, you know what, we're just going to go with Alba Fire. Works just as well, and hey, it should be good for her. Should be good for her. We then we got Cody Rhodes. He was out there. He talked about the attack from Cena. Obviously, the heel turn. He talked about it. Talked about The Rock. Talked about all that happened, and it was a great promo. It was just a great promo. We then we got Jimmy Uso versus Drew McIntyre. This went about 7 minutes. And Drew won, which was something that I actually thought should have happened, and it did happen, so I'm glad that he won. Then we get Damian Priest brawling. Damian Priest came out and started brawling with Drew. A lot of people were not happy when it was made official that this match might be taking place at WrestleMania. I'm like, oh no, this match does not deserve to be on WrestleMania. Raw or SmackDown, yes. Main event of Raw and SmackDown in like a street fight, maybe, but already this feud is actually looking promising, and I'm glad that they're actually making an effort to make this match seem somewhat important. We get the main event, Shinsuke Nakamura versus LA Knight for the United States Championship. And thank God, even though I love Shinsuke and I love his new look and I love his new presentation, his run as U.S. champion has been flat as a bottle of Coca-Cola. Flat as a bottle of 2-month-old Coca-Cola that's been sitting out in the sun for far too long, and it just tastes so flat. That's exactly what his U.S. title reign has been, just flat. LA Knight wins, and I'm happy for him. Good for him. Hopefully this run is a little bit better than his run the first time around, which didn't exactly light the world on fire, but at least it was something different from what we were previously getting with Logan Paul, who was barely on television, barely defending the title, defended it maybe 3 or 4 times. But hey, it is what it is. But congrats to LA Knight. This was a great episode of Friday Night SmackDown. Not the best, but it was great. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. And that is officially it for the live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know I did. And I will see you guys next week for another live stream. And until next time, peace. And I got a new movie review video that I will be doing immediately following this live stream, and then I will upload it tomorrow as a premiere, and it will be premiering on my channel, so you will not want to miss that. But until next time, peace. Bye guys.